Why were we trying to shut him down? Because he was going to eventually kill somebody. Is what that's where it was headed. We knew that Russ was doing things that were very unsafe, to say the least. Um, just what he was showing in his videos, you could tell. Like he had this. Just for example, this is just one thing. Okay, he had this freezer. It was an old chest type deep freezer. I don't know if people know what the like. You've seen these freezers that are huge,
It's like a
4 foot or
deep
so.
freeze, a deep
Yeah,
freezer.
full of muddy water that he never changed. That had people. He would make people get in it. All right, if you've ever, you can find these videos on YouTube. I mean, it's under Mckamey Manor Presents. You can find some of the videos from the Tennessee, from where he was at in Tennessee, and where he still is now. But he would make people get in this deep freezer of nasty water, and he never changed it from person to person. Like somebody's coming this week, he'd rinse it out. No, none of that ever happened. So people would get in this thing and puke, spit, whatever, and it just he just kept adding them to it. Like uh, the level of creep is unreal. I'm trying to keep up with chat, and I get distracted. But the reason we wanted to shut him down was because he was hurting people and manipulating people like these females. He preyed on vulnerable, emotionally distraught, or emotionally fragile females. Mostly what came to see him, I would say probably 90% of the people that came to Russ McKamey's period were female. Every now and then he would have a male contestant, but for the most part they were female. And it was like he tried to date them all because he always had these young, emotionally fragile females that he would have come visit him, and he always just like, for example, Susan Kaplan was one of them, and the way the video on YouTube looks with him and Susan is just, I mean, it's disturbing. And this is what he used his group for, was these vulnerable females that were in not so good a place that would come to his house, and then he would, it was almost like a BDSM type thing that he would do. Now, he didn't show this stuff on video, obviously, because you can't do that. But what went on behind the scenes, like, and there was a few that did speak out. There was, Susan released a audio about Russ and how, because she actually had a relationship with him. Susan was in a relationship with Russ for a very short period of time, and Russ said some disturbing shit about her minor child. Uh, and that's not hearsay. That's not, oh, I heard somebody say Russ did this. No, this was directly from Susan that Russ said these things about her child. Oh, yes, the Fiona said the one came from the Netherlands all the way to Russ's in Tennessee. These videos are on YouTube. You can find the Mckamey Manor videos. I've got a few on this channel, the Exposing Mckamey Manor channel, but I don't repost them because Russ is boring.
And I'll answer this question. Yes, the DA, Scott Franks, County Commissioner, does monitor Russ, and he was forced to tone down his.
Well,
That's what. But they didn't exactly shut him down. He was told to tone down
and let me
because
say
he.
too, go ahead, Paula.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, yeah, his computer, everything. Russ was being monitored by the FBI after the big breakup between him and Carol in Tennessee.
And I just wanted, this isn't this isn't what I came up here to say, but I just want to say, because it's on
Mm-hmm.
topic, the dirty ass fucking deep freeze that Jonathan was referring to,
Ew.
Russ actually had calls to the health department
Mhm.
about his quote unquote manor. And he was actually told, you have to change that water and clean and disinfect that freezer or you're going to be fine, buddy. It was that gnarly, you guys, to where he was
Oh yeah.
going to get a fine from the health department for it.
Yep. And I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's just some, like, there's so much. This rabbit hole goes on and on and on. And if you
Oh
go down it,
yes.
if you made it to the end, Russ had he had claimed you would get a $20,000 prize at one point. Then he took the prize off the table. Then this past August, he was so desperate for people to come back to his trailer that he went back and said he would give people 10,000. He still couldn't get people to come this past year. 2021. I know people think Russ has died down and there ain't been nothing going on. There has been. Yeah, Paul. Can you resend them? Cause
Yeah.
okay, just resend
Did
whatever.
anybody
Like,
ever win?
no, no. Russ made sure nobody ever won because obviously it was like Wheel of Fortune. The game was rigged. He wasn't going to let anybody win. In San Diego, Russ would say, you know, you were too emotionally fragile and we couldn't continue, had to pull the plug or whatever. He would make sure you did not finish. For whatever reason he wanted to state, you weren't going to get, there was no end. It went on as long as Russ wanted for it to go on. But in San Diego, he just used at the end, I mean, not all along. At the very end, he just used a big van that they drove around in, and they beat the hell out of you in the back of a van while somebody drove them around. And he would say he had all these
Yeah.
different sites you were going to go to, and you were going to do this at this site and this at this site. But he didn't have nothing but a van that he would put you in and blindfold you. And
Let me
then
break this down. Let me tell some people this, Jonathan. Okay, so what Russ did was he lured people with an illusion. I mean, it was nothing other than an illusion. It's been proven that Russ would take these people, and I'm talking about back in the San Diego, California days. I'm not talking about Tennessee. He would take these people to an or not even abandoned, but like a warehouse in his van. And he would say, this is where we're going to go in. Lori Brotherton, which these people are going to be like, huh? What the fuck? These people talking about? She was one of the people that went through Mckamey Manor. A lot of us are haunt enthusiasts. And he was supposed to be the biggest, the most badass extreme haunt there was. He would lure these people in with, oh, you're going to go in a box with morale, what are they called? Morale eels?
moray eels.
Yeah, with eels. You're gonna do this, that, the other.
Buried, you'll be buried 6 foot under and all this
All
under dirt.
these extravagant. Like, people are like, what? I've never done something like this. This is fear factor level shit. So these people are signing up, okay? Russ, it's literally like watching a sociopath serial killer who hasn't killed anybody. Russ has never killed nobody, no. In real time. It's like watching their brain tick, move, calculate everything. So he would lure people in just like he did in Tennessee with, you're going to have to swim a mile under this water with caiman alligators and this, that, and the other. Like, he presents all these badass, like, obstacle type courses, and people are like, whoa, let me get in that. Because there's people like that. Like, there are. However, none of that existed. Like I said, in San Diego, he would take people outside to these warehouses that were just like not like it wasn't Amazon, but for example, like an Amazon warehouse, and would be like, this is where we have our setup for the moray eels or whatever. So these people are all about it. He lured these people in for the sole purpose because he's like a fucking, there's something wrong with him. He wanted the humiliation, the terror, the fucking taking people to the mental brink of death, beating the shit out of them, which Jonathan said, because it's true. Beating the shit out of these people. Like, that's what you paid for. You want the truth? You want the truth or you want a good lie? Because Mckamey Manor, what it was back in the day was being waterboarded and having the shit beat out of you. That's what it was. But
And
all
in
these people,
Tennessee,
it's so fine. Even until this day, it's such a gray area in terms of like legally and things of that matter that people didn't know what to do. Russ had these people signing an NDA that they thought was legal, true. Russ is going to take me for everything I've got. I've got kids. I've got a family. Like, I've got a house. Like, I can't speak on this. So Russ knew what he was doing the whole time. It was a lure to get people on video camera for Russ to get his fucking jollies off at a later point in time. Just like the onesies, those are his trophies. Just like serial killers have a trophy, those onesies, which again, people in this chat are like, onesies, what? Every time anybody did a Mckamey Manor tour of his quote unquote haunted house, extreme haunt, they had to wear a onesie, like an adult onesie. And he would keep every single one of them. His goal, excuse me, guys, was to get on camera people's mental breakdown, their humiliation, their the look in their eye when they thought they were going to die. You guys, this isn't a joke. It's nothing funny. Holly says, oh, well, I'm anti Mckamey Manor, but I'm not anti Russ. Well, bitch, Russ is Mckamey Manor. And that's what he would do to people. He would do this to people. That's not even tipping the iceberg on what this man would do to vulnerable young women like Holly Shalito, like Haley Days. That's not even like, I can't, like, this makes me so upset.
yeah,
He's
we
a
got to
piece
get
of
back on
shit.
track because I got a shitload of screenshots that I just got. So
Let me just finish, and I'll let me finish this, and then I'll go into what I came up here for, and then I'll shut my trap. Um, that's what Russ did. He lured people in to an illusion that wasn't real to get their most disparaging moment. I'm going to cry. It pisses me off. To get their most disparaging moments on camera to go back and watch later to fulfill his jollies. It has that. Why do you guys think he didn't pay or didn't have people pay? He never had people pay for his haunt. He said, oh, donate dog food, which started because Carol, his partner, was very, very, very passionate for greyhounds. And at first, Carol made sure all those donations went to the Greyhound Foundation, Greyhound dogs. Like, she made sure of that. That's not why he does it. That's why he doesn't care about money. He wants your humiliation on tape. He wants you in your deepest, darkest despair on tape. And he lures these people with these extravagant obstacles to do it. And it's sickening. It is sickening. If you go through Mckamey Manor Presents or the original Mckamey Manor YouTube, you can see these people's, like, these people are fucked. Not because they wanted to go to an extreme haunt and be held to their, and you'll see them all. They'll say they won't talk about it because they're under a DNA or an NDA they're scared of. They won't talk about it, but they'll say this is nothing like you've ever thought. Yeah, because you go there and you get the living shit beat out of you and you get brought to the brink of death. There was one guy called the Marine. Now, he should have beat that shit. But like Jonathan said, no matter what you did, there's no winning it. There's absolutely no winning it. And Russ was busted out lying and luring people to come to his haunt so we could get his sick footage by saying, I'll give you $20,000 if you win. Well, guess what? He bought that the $20,000 that he flashed everywhere at Trans World, which is a haunt convention, to lure people.